Don't blink right now because the next thought you have could be the one that changes every assumption you've ever made about existence itself. There are living organisms that don't age, not slower than us, but literally immortal, never deteriorating, the same for centuries, while the universe spins and forgets their beginning. Consider that there are mathematical patterns like the monster group, a symmetry so vast it barely fits in our universe's equations. Lurking in the background of nature, so abstract they almost shouldn't exist. And yet here we are, building physics atop them. Beneath Antarctica, liquid lakes lie buried under miles of ice, older than our species, harboring entire ecosystems completely disconnected from sunlight. Life that's never seen the stars, evolving its own rules right beneath our feet. In a cubic centimeter of empty space, there's more raw energy than in all the matter in the known universe. If we could access it, a single teacup could sterilize the solar system. Under your skin, there are particles right now that were, only moments ago, entangled with others across the universe, communicating instantly across distances that light takes ages to travel. So are you just here, or are you somewhere else too? Everywhere else at once? There is a protein called PRNP in your brain. If it misfolds, it can begin converting every other protein into itself. Your entire identity could at any moment dissolve like a sandcastle hit by a tidal wave, with no pain, just erasure. Birds navigate with quantum sensors in their eyes, literally seeing Earth's magnetic field while they fly, an invisible geography layered over the one you know, a hidden map you'll never glimpse. And while you sleep, somewhere a fungus grows that can hijack an ant's brain, walking it out on leaves, making it clamp down before sprouting a fruiting body through its skull, turning willpower itself into a puppet. The code of your DNA can be rewritten with light. Scientists have switched living memories on and off in mice with flashes, showing that what you remember might one day be nothing more than software, forgeable, erasable, transmissible at will. If you drop a particle into certain black holes, it may not be destroyed, but scrambled so thoroughly that its information is trapped, echoing for eternity as a distorted whisper. So, maybe nothing truly dies. It just becomes unrecognizable, immortal as chaos. Electrons don't travel as particles between atoms, but as clouds of pure possibility, only solidifying when observed. Your entire body right now is an ongoing negotiation between all the versions of you that could exist. But only the one being noticed by reality gets to stay. Some physics predicts that if reality is truly continuous, then between any two moments, there are infinite possible yous, all subtly different, all equally real for a billionth of a heartbeat. Under the streets of Tokyo, engineers are quietly preparing a subway city designed to catch and store entire rivers when the typhoons come, creating landscapes that are both labyrinth and floodplain, designed for a world we barely understand. In Iceland, there are volcanoes whose eruptions once changed the global climate for years, showing that a single day on a tiny island can rewrite history on every other continent. Mathematics has revealed shapes, like E8, an eight-dimensional lattice so strange even our best minds need supercomputers and psychedelics to glimpse its edges, that describe how particles might fit together in ways the universe itself doesn't use, but could somewhere else. There are places in the Pacific Ocean so deep that sound travels horizontally along thermoclines. Scientists can shout on one end, and whales can answer halfway around the world in a sea-wide conversation older than language. Your sense of personal space is encoded by millions of tiny neurons, some firing only if someone approaches from the right, others only if they linger without speaking. There are rare humans who lost these little circuits and now feel no discomfort, letting strangers step forehead close while they stare, unmoved into infinity. If you cooled sodium atoms close to absolute zero and arranged them just right, they merge into a single superatom, a Bose-Einstein condensate, that can climb its own container's walls, escaping gravity, defying friction, a whole made up of parts that forgot they were ever separate. Some scientists suspect time may not be something that ticks forward, but a phase the way water can be liquid or ice, and that one day the arrow of time might hiccup, flow backward, or freeze us in a nowhere forever. There are bacteria that communicate by trading electrical signals like neurons, creating colony-wide brainwaves. Some physicists believe the universe itself may be conscious in an unfamiliar way, an endless dialogue of information, swapping bits across cosmic distances, so your most private thoughts could be ripples in a universal mind. And right now, researchers are learning how to store digital files in the code of viruses, spreading blueprints, cures, or, terrifyingly, memories through populations as easily as a cold, rewriting species with a sneeze. There are abstract numbers, like the J invariant or imaginary quadratic fields, that encode the essence of how symmetry and chaos play together, dictating how unpredictability seeps into the most stable patterns. The shape of a snowflake, the orbit of a planet, the timing of your heartbeat, all of them may be secretly governed by mathematics whose implications we're only just beginning to decode. Imagine you are made not just of atoms, but of stories, countless, branching, contradictory tales, playing out in the chemistry of your body and the wires of your brain, each one a slightly different version of reality, improvising its way across the stage every time you choose, act, or remember. There are places in our mind we may never visit, lobes and networks that flicker like ghost towns. And some scientists now rig electrodes to simulate hallucinations in waking humans, showing that the real world can be reprogrammed, one pixel at a time. On Jupiter, the storms are so vast they could swallow Earth 1,000 times, lasting for centuries, boiling with lightning strikes many times hotter than the sun. And as you listen, there are data points in the universe, protons, photons, entire galaxies that will never interact, existing so independently their realities may as well be separate universes, yet sharing the same space and time, unseen by each other, right next door. Think for a second about this. The most powerful proof in computer science, Gödel's incompleteness, says there are truths, provable ones, that your reality cannot access from within its own rules. Meaning, there may be facts about your existence that are true, but will forever remain unreachable. Not just unknown, but unknowable. Like trying to taste a color that doesn't exist. You're surrounded by impossibility, and yet you navigate it every day, building meaning on the edge of paradox. The world is right now woven from music beyond your hearing, gravitational waves rippling through space-time, pulsars blinking in distant galaxies to a rhythm your ears will never detect, and quantum pops and sizzles hiding in the very air you breathe. Faulkner said, "The past is never dead. It's not even past. But maybe every second, every story, every version of you is alive, waiting for consciousness to sweep past and notice it into being. So if your heart feels shaken, your mind a little unspooled, realize that the most unthinkable possibility is this. Every shocking thing I've said, every slice of unimaginable, tangled, cosmic strangeness is only the beginning. The universe, your brain, and every in-between are deeper, wilder, and stranger than anything you've heard until this moment. And by listening, you've already stepped across a threshold into the territory where reality is up for grabs. You are not the person who pressed play. You have become the question that reality asks itself when it wants to be surprised.